Good morning, dear students. Welcome back to our online class. So, here we continue with our short story, All Summers in a Day. We have seen that how Margot was finally locked inside the room by the other children, and that when everyone came back to their own classrooms. And we have also seen that they were all eagerly waiting for the rain to stop and to step out of their classroom and to see the sun there. Okay. During this time, the teacher also came to take all the children outside, and she expected that everyone is there in the class. She did not pay attention so keenly that she could find that Margot is missing. Okay, so today let us continue from the rest of the story from page number 112. So I request you all to keep your textbook when you watch this video for your better understanding. So finally we can see that the children were so eager and so curious because that day has finally, that moment has finally come, and they can't hold on with their excitement. Okay, so the sun suddenly came out, the door slid back, and the smell of the silent waiting world came into them. And what they saw is that the sun came out. Now when you say the sun came out, actually, in the winters also we are so keenly expecting to see a little bit of the sun rays and sun coming out in between the clouds. Okay, so the sun slowly comes out of the clouds. It was the color of flaming bronze, and it was very large. So when the children observed the sun coming out visible from in between the clouds, they saw that it was having the color of flaming. It's like flaming ball. Okay, and like bronze in color, and it was very large and big in size, more than what they have expected. Okay, and the sky around it was blazing blue tile color. Now you have to imagine that when the children observe the sun, they are actually not observing as we observe standing on the earth. Okay, so we know that sun itself is a very huge body. So we know that when we observe from the earth, we assume a particular shape of a ball. Okay, now but when these children are observing, they are actually looking or observing this from the planet Venus, right? So for them, the size of the sun is very much bigger than what we look from the earth. Okay, so that is why they feel like it is like, blazing, very having very bright flame and very bronze colored, and it's very very large in size. And the sky around it was blazing blue tile color. The sky around it, because of this sun's blazing color of mixture of red, yellow, then again bronze, and etc., orangish. Now at the tint of all these colors, you can see the background, the sky actually looks like blazing blue tile color. And the jungle burned with sunlight. And jungle means the jungle where actually the planet Venus has a lot of trees and almost looks like a forest. And here you can see that the whole jungle was completely covered with the sunlight like an umbrella. And as the children, released from their spell, rushed out yelling into the springtime, and children are so excited, so happy to see this sun. They have no words, they don't know what they have to do. They just ran into the open area there, and they were just looking at the sun, or like basking, having the feeling that warmth in their hands and their body, or falling of the rays on their face. So they are completely enjoying, and there is no limit to their joy. Okay, so now don't go too far, call the teacher after them. You have only 2 hours. You wouldn't want to get caught out. Now what is that? It's not like for the whole day they will be getting the sunlight, and they would be able to see this and experience this warmth of the sun. But the teacher warns them that you are not supposed to go too far, because it's almost a jungle forest area. So it's not safe for them to go too far and too interior. So the teacher warns them that not to go too far. Call the teacher after them, and you have only 2 hours. And you have only 2 hours. That means only for 2 hours the sun will be shining like this, there will be sunlight, there will be warmth of the sun rays, and after that it will be not there. Okay, so as per the weather forecast, as per their weather information, this is what they have got. So the teacher warns them, asks them that you're not supposed to go too far, and you have only 2 hours. So in this 2 hours you have to maximum utilize the warmth of the sun. You can observe the, you can look into it, you can feel it, and you can have a basking of the sun. But and now if after 2 hours, the again scenario becomes the same, and for the next sun to show its face, they have to wait for the next 7 years. That is, now they are 9 years. Okay, so next 7 years they have to wait, when they will be becoming 15 or 16 years of age, isn't it? So that means it's again a long time for them to wait. So the teacher says that you won't want to you wouldn't want to get caught out. Okay, so but they were running and but no one is listening to the teacher. Do the children listen? When the children go to the playground, what happens? Do you listen to your teacher? No, because it's like a one for one period or a 40 minutes, it's like, it's your world, isn't it? You just run through the playground, you play whatever you want, you just make fun on the ground, you do whatever things you would like to do, and you means you enjoy to the maximum. That's the point. Okay, so here also the students are not listening to the teacher, what the teacher is telling to them, because they have only limited time, and they have to experience all these things. And after all, this is their first experience with their full conscious mind. Okay, so but they were running and turning their faces up to the sky and feeling the sun on their cheeks like a warm iron. Now what the children are doing, they are running here and there in the, and they are looking at the sun, they are running here and there, and they are feeling, lifting their faces towards the sun, and they are feeling the warmth of that sunlight on their face, on their hands, etc. And they feel like the heat produced is so hot that they feel like as if the iron box is kept on their cheeks. Okay, they were taking off their jackets and letting the sun burn their arms. Still now it was raining continuously, there was sufficient cold, and they were used to wear jackets. Now they are feeling hot, and they just removed their jackets, and they started basking their arms, hands, legs, etc. Oh, it's better than the sun lamps, isn't it? So far how they used to get the heat, they used to experience the heat when they were sitting very close to the burning lamps. Okay, and they used to have that warmth, but now they feel the so warmth of the sun is so natural, and it has more temperature than what they used to sit and feel near the sun lamps. And they said that, oh, it's much better than the sun lamps, much better. They stopped running and stood in the great jungle that covered Venus, that grew and never stopped growing tumultuously, even as you watched it. Okay, and they stopped there in the jungle, and they have seen that the whole sunlight has completely covered the whole jungle, and it was growing and growing. When the sun light is very much important, the warmth of the sun, the heat of the sun is important for the plants and the trees to have their proper growth, isn't it? And they felt like the trees are growing, and they are absorbing that maximum heat energy that they are getting from the sunlight. And even as you watched it, it was a nest of octopi clustering up great arms of flesh like wheat, wavering, flowering in the brief springs. And those flowers which were having the blooming buds on them, sorry, those plants which were having the blooming buds on them, the flowers are bloomed, and the withered trees and the plants have started coming with the new leaves, tender leaves, etc. And it was completely creating like a feeling of approaching of the spring. It was the color of rubber and ash, this jungle, from the many years without sun. Many years without the sunlight, almost the leaves turned grayish in color. Okay, and that's why I said that was the color of the ash. Okay, so grayish in color because there was a lack of sunlight that has fallen upon these leaves and the other branches. Okay, so now from the many years without the sun, and it was the color of stones and white cheeses and ink, and It was the color of the moon. These are all gives that the without the sunlight the plant seems to be very dull, lifeless, energyless. When there is a proper sunlight, you can experiment in your smaller classes. You might have learned the photosynthesis process, isn't it? And you might have learned that experiment that you take a plant and keep it in a darker place for some days, and after that you observe it, and you take a plant and keep it in a sunlight and you observe it, you feel the difference, isn't it? So here from many years there is no sunlight, there is no warmth and heat of the sunlight, and the proper process of photosynthesis was not occurring here. And the leaves turn to be grayish, and the branches seems to be like becoming white and lifeless. Okay, so that all shows that there was no kind of sunlight was there, and the trees and plants were in a very very bad condition. Okay, the children lay out laughing on the jungle mattress and heard it sigh and squeak under them, resilient and alive. The children, there is no limit to their happiness, there is no limit to their enjoyment, and they were just simply lying down on the grasses, because the grasses were completely wet because of the rain, but now because of the sunlight it has become so warm, and it felt like as if they are lying on the grass mattress. Okay, so they were jumping on that, they were laughing, they are rolling down, and they can hear the squeaking of the animals, birds, etc. Now it's not only the children who are actually enjoying this warmth and the appearance of the sunlight after 7 years, but equally it is applicable to all those animals and birds, insect and other creatures who also need heat or sunlight or warmth of the sunlight. Okay, and it shows that the whole nature itself, we have seen the plants, the flowers bloomed, the plants, the tender leaves started sprouting out. So it means that the whole nature itself was eagerly waiting for from last 7 years, and it has brought change. Now all these plants will be absorbing maximum heat for the production of their food, or for the production of getting more nutrients from the sun, etc. Okay, so and the animals and the birds also, like they might be also trying to come out of their hidden places, hidden habitats, so that they can also get this warmth of the sunlight. Okay, so they ran among the trees, they slipped, and there is, and for children, now animals and birds cannot express, though they express with their sounds, they cannot express with their words. Okay, but children can do that, people can do that. So that is why the children ran among the trees and they were playing, and they slipped and fell down. Okay, they pushed each other in happiness, and they played hide and seek and tag, but most of all they squinted at the sun until the tears ran down there. So what all things they can enjoy being under this sunlight, they were doing everything. It's like they were so crazy to do anything, and it's like so madness of them that they were not understanding actually how to experience this happiness. Sometimes it happens with the people also, when there will be any reason for you and you are so happy and you don't know actually what to do and how to express it, you will be having no idea, right? So, and people often feel like behaving in a different way during those times, because their happiness goes to their ecstasy level. So here we can see the children also, they are playing hide and seek, they are pushing one another on the ground, some are rolling down, some are jumping upon them. A lot of funny activities they are involved in doing. But and there are some also children, and most of them what they did is that they kept on, it's very difficult to look at the sunlight for a long period of time. So but children want to experience the warmth on their face, so they kept on looking at the sun until their eyes completely filled with the tears, and the tears rolling down on their faces. Okay, they put their hands upon to the yellowness and that amazing blueness, and they breathed of the fresh air, and listened to the silence which suspended them in a blessed sea of no sound and no motion. Okay, so what they did, they put their hands up to the yellowness, they expose their hands to get that yellowness of the sun. Okay, and also amazing blueness, and they breathed the fresh air, and they felt that the air itself has become so much purified. We always believe that fire is a symbol that has the quality of burning, but it burns and it purifies, isn't it? Similarly, the heat of the sun is also having that fire in it, which actually burns and purifies also. So they felt like it has burned all the toxic things and detox the air which they are breathing very fresh. Okay, and the fresh air, and listen to the silence which suspended them. And that feeling of being and enjoying in the sunlight after 7 long years. Now, though it is for 7 long years, for the elders they might have experienced earlier on the planet Venus, but for the children, this is their first experience. Okay, so that is why they are so curious and they are so crazy and gone mad, and they are so much involved in trying to enjoy to its maximum. They looked at everything and savored everything. Then, wildly, like animals escaped from their caves, they ran and ran in shouting circles. Now, children had actually, they were fully out of their rooms, houses, and they kept like wild animals are being, left open from the zoo. What they do, they keep running here and there like that. The children kept on, roaming here and there, shouting, making noise, playing, enjoying, making circles. They ran for an hour and did not stop running, and for 1 hour continuously, they were involved in totally all types of physical activities that they can involve, and they did not stop till 1 hour. And then, in the midst of their running, one of the girls wailed. Everyone stopped, and during their running, one of the girls, wailed, cried, and at the time everyone stopped. The girl standing in the open held out her hand. Oh, look, look, she said, trembling. So she was actually crying, and she was standing in the open area, and she showed her hand to others and said, and she was trembling. They came slowly to look at her open palm. In the center of it, cupped and huge, was a single raindrop. So why the girl was crying after 1 hour, she saw she was holding her palm like this, and inside that palm there was a huge water drop, that is a raindrop. And that's what the girl cried, wailed, and she called everyone, and she was showing this. Now what does that shows? That one drop of rainwater in her palm shows that the very soon the sunlight will be going back, and now it will be starting to rain. Okay, so in the center of it, cupped and huge, was a single raindrop. She began to cry looking at it, and when she saw that raindrop in her hand, tears started rolling down. Why? Because it's going to rain, and that's not a happy news for them. That's not a happy thing for them. And if it starts raining, then what happens? The sun will go, the sunlight will go, there will be no sunlight, there will be no warmth, and there will be no happiness that they are enjoying right now. Okay, so that is why they say that she began to cry, she began to weep, looking at that raindrop cupped in her palm. Okay, and they glanced quietly at the sun. Now all the children had their very sad and gloomy face, their face turned sad, and they looked into the water droplet, and then slowly they looked up to the sun, because now the sunlight is going. Okay, or the warmth of the sun will not remain for a long time, as the rain starts more and more precipitating, and the chances of getting the sun going back is more. Okay, so the more it precipitates, the more the sunlight, the lesser the sunlight will become. Okay, or the warmth of the sun will become. So they were very sad, and they were all the children started, their faces turned to be very gloomy and dull, and seemed to be unhappy by seeing this one drop of rainwater in their hand. Okay, so I hope that you understood this much part. So we'll be continuing tomorrow. Keep reading. Take care of yourselves. Have a wonderful time.